Welcome back to the GLF Bonn conference at 2018. I'm here with Stefan Schmitz, thank you, who's the Deputy Director General and Commissioner from One World No Hunger Initiative at BMZ. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So please tell us a bit more about One World No Hunger Initiative.
Well, right. That is one of our flagship initiatives at the BMZ, the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. Initiative that was launched 5 years ago, targeting SDG 2. Yeah? So with various aspects, so we address the issue of malnutrition, we address the issue of increasing smallholder agriculture productivity, as well as the sustainability issues when it comes to sustainable intensification in agriculture. So we cover the whole range behind SDG 2 to make sure that the world is able to properly feed a growing global population today and in the years to come. Okay. Yeah, we cooperate with about 15 African countries and countries beyond Africa. For example, a huge cooperation program with India, and we found that in particular interesting to foster and strengthening dialogues with African country as well as India and others.
Okay, great. So how far are we in achieving the targets that you have for One World?
Well, so far we are happy that we are right on track. We reach millions of smallholders, and marginalized people. We work a lot on improving the nutrition of small children and mothers. And we reach millions of them with that. So on the one hand, we know that we are right on tracks with our programs we are doing.
Okay.
But at the same time, we know that in general, more needs to be done on global level. So more donors need to be engaged in combating hunger and malnutrition. More political will is needed in many of the countries affected. The international community needs to do more as well. So there is a lot to do. With the view there is now only 12 years left to reach the SDGs in general and SDG 2 in particular. Definitely business as usual is not an option. More needs to be done. We would like to encourage others to come on board and to strengthen our fight against hunger.
Great. So in terms of hunger and restoring landscapes, so agriculture versus restoring landscapes, how do we find that balance when we're trying to feed a world population while also trying to save the planet?
That is one of I would say the key challenges humankind is facing in the 21st century.
Right.
In many parts of the world today, agriculture is the most important threat to the environment.
Right.
There is groundwater depletion. There is soil degradation. There is the cut of trees, of forests, and all that, the loss of biodiversity. So we need a complete transformation. Agriculture needs to be sustainable.
Right.
It needs to be sustainable. That is not the case, and we have to work to this. Okay, that has two aspects. Sustainability at on-farm level. A lot can be done and needs to be done with drip irrigation and soil conservation measures and the like. But at the same time, we need approaches beyond the individual farm.
Right.
So regional water management, regional forest management, and whole kind of regional, the individual farmer cannot address. Yeah?
Right.
There needs a broader cooperation at local, at regional, at national level. And this is the main issue we are addressing here at the Global Landscapes Forum. That is, how can we bring that sustainability in the resource management in general?
Right, exactly. So do you think that we will, during the conference, we will find some solutions in how we're going to figure out how to balance agriculture, basically, and restoring landscapes?
There are a lot of encouraging initiatives are going on. We are now, I would say, at the right level of scientific knowledge, of intellectual approaches. We have collected so many best practices around. Now we need to really transform that, bring it into action beyond individual pilot projects. Yeah. And we now need the political buy-in to make it really part of a rural governance. It is a question of political will, it is a question of empowering people, and it's a question of policy approaches. We as donors would like to see the countries taking the lead in building rural institutions that have the capacity really to empower the people and at the same time work on these cross-sectoral and multi-stakeholder approaches. That is needed.
Right.
Yeah. People they live in places, they live in territories, they live in spaces. People do not live in individual sectors. So participation, democracy, that all takes place at local, at regional level. And we need that shift from thinking sector-wise to thinking conceptually and spatial and territorial. And we have examples there. Now we need to scale it up and we need the political buy-in for that.
Yes, I agree. So the last question would be so how do you see our future? Are you hopeful about the future at the moment?
Yes, I mean, a lot needs to be done. Coming back to One World No Hunger initiative, we want to encourage people, actors, institutions to come in, to join the group of donors, of institutions fighting hunger. And we need at the same time the political buy-in to say, okay, we now are going for territorial approaches. Yeah? And we are in a process of now selecting pilot countries who are really willing to do that together with the donor community, and we stand ready to give support for that, financial support on the field of technical cooperation and the like. So there is so much knowledge to share.
Cool.
We are waiting and we want to encourage partners to build it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sitting with me at the GLF Forum.
Thank you very much.
It was great
Thank you,
speaking to
Natasha.
you.